Yeah, lean back, lay back, just get
All
comfy.
right.
Sit however you want to sit.
Okay. Can I just get both of you guys to just say one thing? Like,
Hey, Gary, I'm interviewing Ava James, aka Chris McDonald.
Hi. Ava James here. Let's not show my cooter to the world.
I know, I'm thinking the same thing.
oh, you missed that too? I don't know.
Rolling?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Okay, Kristen McDonald, known to the world as Ava James. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. So for those who haven't heard, earlier this year, you got basically outed for being on OnlyFans while simultaneously working as an education assistant.
That's right.
So you were threatened to be fired if you didn't take down your OnlyFans, but as of now, you have lost your job with the school board, correct?
I have, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I have heard a couple of different stories about how you were outed, and I was interested in what happened. One I heard was a former friend leaked the info, and then I also heard that a kid found your TikTok.
Yes. So I'm not 100% sure as to how it got leaked. There's just kind of, there's rumors that have gone around. I did have a falling out with a coworker who basically, found out about the OnlyFans and voiced her opinion about my decision to go on there, and we then parted ways. So, I mean, I know that it was talked about. I know she talked about it. And then when I received the cease and desist letter, it made reference to something in the collective agreement about a complaint by a student. So I was never actually given all the information as to what the complaint was. I just heard that it was a student that came across a TikTok of Ava James.
Right.
And Ava James does most of her TikToks in bikinis.
But I'm just like, okay, how did that student find that, number one? I also heard that you said you bought like TikTok accounts that were based in different countries, like in the US or something.
Yeah.
So like, how did they come across it here?
Well, and I kind of wonder too if that former friend went out of her way to kind of show other coworkers what I was doing, and I'm not sure. There's a lot of kind of question marks around that.
Right. I can see that. Yeah, that's very convoluted for sure. So the school board basically said you violated a contract or their terms of employment.
Correct.
So, I mean, how did you do that? I mean, if you weren't posting things in the school, you weren't doing inappropriate things with students, like...
Absolutely, that was never the case.
Right. So
yes.
In this climate right now, we're all struggling so much.
Absolutely.
Money-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much an education assistant would make. I would assume
$45,000.
$45,000. And you are a single mom.
Yes.
We're living in one of the most expensive
places in the world.
And you're making $45,000. You would just be sort of getting by.
Barely. What people don't realize too is like that $45,000, because we're considered a part-time employee, we actually have to pay out of pocket for benefits.
Really?
So $45,000 minus the payment for benefits for, our pension, our union dues, all that kind of thing. Like,
oh my God. Plus taxes.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I've had this conversation many times. It's like, that's great. I have health care, but what if I can't pay my bills?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what a stress it is. And you have your daughter to raise and you have all of that to think
Absolutely,
about. Her future.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Survival.
Yeah, 100%. Did you think for a second, like when this came out, when they were contacting you, like how did they contact you? What did they say?
So it's really interesting. I think I explained to you I had a spine surgery about a month ago.
Right.
So that was actually my third spine surgery.
Okay.
I was recovering from my second spine surgery. I think it was 5 days after I had it. I received a letter from the district, and it was basically a cease and desist letter to take down all my Ava James socials. So that was TikTok, Instagram, of course, OnlyFans, Twitter.
Right. So you're like recovering.
Yeah, like I'm
Drugged
at
out.
home in bed on some really heavy duty drugs, and I get this email, then I get a call from the union president, and like, yeah. So it was like a, I don't know if I can say it, but holy shit moment. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm honored.
So what in that moment, because you're very vulnerable in that moment,
Yes,
were you
for
like,
sure.
okay, I'm going to take it down. Like, did that go through your mind? Did you think, okay, yes, I'll just work for the school board then? Like, what did you think?
Absolutely. It wasn't a rash decision to do what I did. I definitely took some time to think about like how I was going to proceed. I believe I got the letter on a Thursday or a Friday. So I kind of like took the weekend to consider kind of my next steps.
Was it, did you feel shame at all in the fact that you decided to do OnlyFans, or were you just like, no, whatever, that you found it, so...
I mean, I wish I could sit here and tell you I felt no shame, but I mean, the fact of the matter is I knew going into, opening an OnlyFans account while working with the school board is a very traditional organization.
Right.
I mean, again, there's reasons why I blocked most of my coworkers. There's reasons why I purchased TikTok accounts from the US. Like, I was really trying to be as discreet as possible.
Yeah.
Because, I think at the end of the day, especially as women, we unfortunately or fortunately are people pleasers. And, there certainly was an aspect that I was trying to maintain privacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there was definitely a huge amount of anxiety when I had decided that I was going to take this story public.
Yeah.
It wasn't something like I really had to prepare myself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a decision I took lightly.
So I have to say the reason why, like obviously I found out and heard about it like
Yeah.
everyone else did. And I reached out to Kristen and was like on her Ava James account. And I was like, I had done like 6 months I was a sexting assistant for
That's awesome.
like
Yeah.
3 girls, one main girl, but 2 other girls who had less busy accounts. And I was done working for them. And I was like, so for people who don't know, a sexting assistant is sometimes people will have a very busy account and just the sexting is too much. Like you guys do so much every single day. Like you're posting numerous videos, numerous pictures, all to get like a bit of money. But like the more people who buy it, the more you'll make. It's a grind.
It is.
It's a huge grind. So people will hire sexting assistants. So you use their content. I used her content pretending I was her.
Of course.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And it is super lucrative. And for someone like me who's only doing that, it's like, fuck yeah, like I made some amazing money doing it. So that's why I reached out to her. Because I was like, hey, do you need a sexting assistant? I can do that for you. So I know how hard it is without me being the OnlyFans girl.
Of course.
I know it is a grind to do it.
100%, yeah. And a lot of people have a misconception with OnlyFans. Like, okay, you're going to take a few nudie photos or sexy photos and you're going to post them. And then the next thing you know, you're making $100K a month.
Yeah,
like,
or
it's
like,
just,
I'm just going to post feet pics. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ugh, they won't. No.
yeah. Or like, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to show my face. Like,
Yeah.
those accounts do exist. And I'm sure that there are some that are successful. But the reality is, like, it is a grind and it's
Yes.
like any other business.
It is a huge grind. People will do the feet pic as long as you include like your vagina and tits as well as your
100%.
as well as your feet.
Yeah.
Like it's not. No one's really like toes.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
really.
Well, I mean, there are some weird fetishes out there,
Yes.
and I'm not fetish shaming. I am all for it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there are things that have come to me through OnlyFans, and it is definitely surprised me.
I'm going to ask you this again later for something else, but I would like to know one of those weird things. Because, like...
Are we ready for that?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I've seen it. I've seen a lot of shit on there.
So, I mean, the weirdest thing for me, and I'm just going to put it out there, it is not something I'm into. A gentleman asked for a fart show.
The girl I worked for did that.
Yeah, and I just was like, like, okay.
Did you do it?
Well, I first wanted to clarify. I was like, what does this mean? Like, do you want to just hear the sounds? And he's like, well, he wanted to know exactly like the sound of it, but also see like the butthole
Move.
release it.
So, like, did he want it live or just want a pre-recorded video?
No, like pre-recorded. I'm sure he would have loved if it was live, but I gently explained that I didn't have gas and I couldn't give that to him.
For the girl I worked for, I used to do that, but she used to like fart and burp, and it was edited because she'd like put like air up her ass so she could, like, it wasn't real fart. Sorry, I'm blowing everyone up here, but it wasn't real farting. Like, it was just like she would put air up her ass to make it happen and edit the video.
That makes sense.
So if anyone asks you to do it again, that's what you can do.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, why not?
Matt, there was one guy actually that messaged her one time and was in a fetish that I had never heard of before, where he loved giants, like
I've heard of that.
female giants.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have a fan who
likes that.
Yeah, they want you to pretend like they're literally this big.
He's like, I want you to pretend you're stepping on me. I was like, how is that hot? Like, I'm not even trying to fetish shame either. I actually don't understand that.
No, I don't understand either. I mean, there's the something that's really big that I never realized too is like the small penis shaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, like, I get a huge kick out of.
That would be actually hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny.
A lot of guys like mommy stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm the original Dommy Mommy for a reason.
Oh, really?
It was a hit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Learned something new today.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you can make money from it, then I'm like, just do it.
Right?
So, I mean, I'm all for this. I think we're not making money in general in this city right now. We're all struggling. If you can do it, why not just do it?
Of course.
Men pay for it. There's a huge industry.
We're monetizing on something that is like, men want it.
Yeah.
They spend money on it. Mm-hmm.
But then we're the ones shamed for doing it.
Well, exactly.
Which is wild to me.
Well, I think one of the very interesting statements from the school board during the investigation meetings I sat through, I believe she was the director of HR, but I said to her, okay, well, if I'm going to be fired for being a content creator on OnlyFans, are you going to fire all the coworkers of mine that are subscribing to OnlyFans accounts?
Absolutely.
And her response was, well, like, don't you think that it's different to watch the videos versus participate in them?
But they're not just watching, they're also paying.
Well, they're paying, and
you wouldn't make the videos if someone wasn't.
Well, and that was my point, is like, there's this like pornography. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
You know, I think 34% of all traffic on the internet is related to sex.
Yeah.
And that could be a higher statistic than that.
I also heard in one of your interviews that you said the school board subscribed to your OnlyFans.
They absolutely did, yes. Not only did they subscribe, they they copied content and reproduced it in an email to like all the human resources at the school board.
Wouldn't they have had to buy that? Purchase it?
It does go against OnlyFans policies.
Yeah, it does.
I did reach out to let them know, but unfortunately, like it would be something that I would have to pursue with a lawyer.
Because they would have purchased it and then taken your content and put it somewhere else.
Well, they didn't actually purchase the content. They basically, as you know, with OnlyFans, it's like you can send direct messages, right? Yeah. So it was a direct message, and it was just like it was a teaser photo and then like a little description.
Right.
So they then asked that I tell them what is in the videos, and I was like, well, this is a video of me dildoing myself with a purple dildo.
It's super veiny.
To the point of climaxing.
Oh my God. And how did they respond to that?
Well, it was funny because at one point they decided that they would prefer to do the meetings over email. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then that's when like these questions about the specific content came out. So I was like, all right.
There was a guy there just jerking off the whole time.
Well, it's very interesting because they removed the only male off of the board of directors during the investigation.
This whole thing is wild to me.
Yeah. And I made a comment actually in one of the meetings about, you know, the school district being an old boys club, and that, you know, this is just, it's not reflective of the direction that we're trying to go as a society, right? And one of the women said, well, actually, we have the highest number of females in like authority positions in our district. And I was like, okay, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
Like, the point is you're still operating from a perspective of the old boys club. It doesn't matter if females are in charge. Like, your general attitude is still incredibly conservative, and you know, it just,
I would love to know if there was a male teacher of some sort and he was on OnlyFans, if the same thing would have happened, or if even people would have been so quick to out him.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I've asked the question, and maybe it's a bit bold and whatever, be it as it is, but you know, what if it was a trans woman that was on OnlyFans? Would she be shamed as much as I was, or would it be like an applaud, like good, go, like get it, good for you?
Yeah.
Or what if she was like a heavier set woman?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions I have, and honestly, I felt very, you know, well, even prior to this, I felt like some coworkers, you know, had an issue with like my appearance or whatever.
Just way before all this.
Yeah, like some of the older women kind of, you know, would make comments like, you know, pull up your shirt, or just based on the fact that we're in a high school or whatever. And it's quite wild to me because I think that, you know, students and teenagers in this day and age are actually very desensitized maybe. Like, they don't hold the same views on like the female body that the older generation does.
Yeah.
And it's much more acceptable to have cleavage, or, you know.
Yeah.
But it's, in my mind, it's like it's my coworkers that had the biggest issue with it. Although I did hear from some students that had graduated, one in particular, that she was a female that told me, well, she didn't use very nice language, but she was very, very disappointed in my actions.
What?
And I was
so
like,
she lectured you?
Yeah. And I was like, girl, you're like 19, you still live at mom and dad's. Like,
don't worry about what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're making your money.
Yeah.
I should have asked this before, but like as an education assistant, what are you required to do? Because you're not a teacher. Some people were saying you were a teacher.
Yeah.
But like it's a different thing.
It is a different thing. I think for the sake of kind of simplicity, a lot of people don't understand what a education assistant does.
Right.
They don't realize that we're actually, we are substantially underpaid from what a teacher is. Like we make
Right.
less than a teacher. And our responsibilities are mainly around students with special needs, students with exceptionalities.
Right.
Over the course of my 8-year career, I've done diabetes testing, I've done food tube feedings for students that have, they can't swallow or they have tracheal issues.
Wow.
Oh goodness, what else?
So you guys
I do toileting.
you have to be very specially trained to do this job.
Yeah, I've worked with some really challenging students. I've worked with some like really violent students. So I've taken like non-violent crisis intervention and
Wow.
and different things.
So are they looking for education assistants? Like is it very hard to find them these days? Like
From my understanding, at least when I started in this career, like they were very, very hard up. Like they did not have enough people. And I think still that's the case. Yeah.
and so well, number one, they should be paying you more. That's a crazy job to have. That's very hard. You have
Yeah.
to take all the crisis intervention.
Well, I mean, it really depends on the students you work with. So I think like it is unionized. So, we make the same amount across the board. Doesn't matter who you work with or how challenging the student is. But I absolutely agree. Like we need more money. And the fact is most of us are like the maximum amount of hours you can get are 30 in a week,
Wow.
which is considered part-time. So,
It's crazy to me that the story has changed from it's all about focused on the OnlyFans and not the fact that there's not enough education assistants and they're not being paid what they should be being paid. Like that just shows me where society is. They're obsessed with sex, obsessed with women's looks, and they're not actually focused on you underpay your staff. Like even if it's like that across the board, it should be higher. Teachers too. It should be higher.
Absolutely.
That's
I agree.
the issue here, really.
Yes, I agree. It's quite hilarious. I mean, and it's as you said earlier, it makes you wonder, like, if there was a man doing OnlyFans, I don't think it would make the news.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I wonder. Let's go find one.
Well, and I don't know. I think I started saying it, but I posted on Instagram actually Friday. There was a Fox News article, and it basically had 5 previous educators that have now gone to OnlyFans.
Wow.
Yes, a recent woman started it to pay off her student loans and ended up making $1 million in a year. Like she made $1 million. And same thing, she was placed on like an unpaid leave.
Wow.
From her school board job, but it was just discussing why educators are turning to
absolutely.
Pornography essentially to pay off student loans and to supplement their income.
This just came to my mind, but a girl I know is a flight attendant and she works with this one guy and he is on OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
And he has like the biggest dick, like of like, it's not even like a big dick. It's like this, like not even joke. Like it's like he's injected it or something to make it like big. Like you inject your ass, he injects, not you, but people and girls inject their asses. And he's like injected his dick and it's like this, but he's a flight attendant and you can see it through his pants. Like it's a huge fucking cock. Like it's massive.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you can see it through his pants when he's a flight attendant, but he's not getting fired for that.
No.
I'll send it to you.
Well, did you hear about the man who wore prosthetic breasts? He was a shop teacher in the US.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually went to the Supreme Court in the States. He was wearing prosthetic breasts, which were like, he bought them in a sex store. Like they're like a, you know, and it went to Supreme Court and he didn't get fired. And I believe he's still allowed to wear the prosthetic breasts. And I was just thinking, I'm like, what if I went to school with a huge like dildo cock prosthesis? Like, you know, like what would happen there? Like, I don't even think I would make it through the door.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's always a different rule, it seems, when it's a woman.
No,
It
it really does feel that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that one of the things that I really struggle with is just the inconsistencies,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, there really is, like, I think the school board has really tried in some ways to become more open-minded and to really be inclusive of, you know, different lifestyles or different sexualities or whatever, but I don't think that we're consistent.
No. Yeah. I agree with you.
And it's frustrating.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask this, and this is not to shame you at all, but I am just curious.
Of course.
So you are a single mom,
I am.
and she's young, but she's getting older, and I'm sure there's parents that know about this story and all that. What has been the situation with her?
What do you mean?
Has she had any parents say anything, kids say anything to her at school?
Actually, like, she's got a core group of friends at school. So when all the articles came out, one of her friends came up to me and was like, I saw you on the news. And I was like, oh, great. Cool. So I kind of, with the parents of my daughters, close friends, I reached out and said, hey, like, I'm sure you've seen the news articles. I just want to let you know, like, I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Yeah.
I want you to feel totally comfortable. Like, please feel free. Like, if we can meet for coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know what? The response has been really overwhelmingly positive.
Good.
Yeah.
And so good that you, like, sorted it out head on. You were just like, if you got a question, like, here I am.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way we're going to kind of move as a society forward, is to keep having these conversations that are maybe like, you know, difficult, and for me, putting myself out there to kind of be the one to talk about it, and just be open about it.
Yeah. When she gets older, have you thought about a conversation you have to have, or is it not something that worries you?
I mean, as a mother, I think you worry about everything.
Yeah.
I think it's hard not to. I mean, certainly I have my reservations, and I want to keep her innocent for as long as possible. I think most parents strive for that for their children. I have confidence in the relationship her and I have, and the way that I have raised her to be open-minded, and, you know, that when the time comes, there will be understanding from her.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think being open about it is the best thing you can do.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to ask you, so now, how are you doing financially? Because you did it to supplement your career.
Correct.
And then you lost that 45,000 a year.
Yeah.
So how is that doing? Like, how are you doing with that now?
I mean, so far so good.
The publicity must have been, like, very helpful.
Absolutely. I mean,
I watched a podcast that you did with some guys in Wisconsin.
yes.
So I was like, that's pretty, like, badass that you are talking to people all the way out there. Like, the story has circulated.
It really has circulated. It's been crazy. I actually did a podcast with a guy in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw this on my story in September, I went on a model retreat to Aruba.
Okay.
And there was models from, like, all over the States, like, really successful ones.
Yeah.
So that was a really great opportunity for collaboration and networking and all that kind of thing. So it's definitely been, I mean, I've tried to make lemonade with lemons as much as possible, and so far it seems to be going well. I think I'm excited to see where this kind of leads to.
I suppose now you have more time to invest into it.
Exactly. Yes.
Because some people think it's so easy. You just take a couple shots. It's not that
No,
easy.
it's really not.
It's content. It's like planning your content
Yes.
for the week. It's like the girl I worked for, the very busy one, she was constantly posting all the time.
Yeah.
Like a $9.99 video and $10.99, but like it was a couple people would buy each, but
Yeah.
she made bank because she was so consistent with it.
Yeah. And it's like anything, you have to be consistent.
Yeah. It's hard. It is hard work.
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
No, it is for sure. And I mean, it's not as glamorous too, like everybody thinks it is. All right.
I remember one time a guy was like, "Hey, can I see a picture of your butthole?" And I was like, not to me, to the girl.
Of course.
And so I texted her. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Can I just have a picture of your asshole, please?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just putting my daughter to bed. I'll send it to you in a second." So she runs into the bathroom, takes a picture, and I send it to him. It's like, it is not glamorous. Like,
Yeah.
that's the least glamorous thing ever.
Yeah.
But she made, some money from that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Why
gotta
not?
do what you gotta do.
I mean, I'll take a picture of my butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody wants one,
You know where to find me?
Ava, just message her.
Yeah.
What is the situation now? Because before we started, you were talking about a lawsuit. I don't know how much you can even say about that.
It's still in the process of being, like, we're going through the grievance process. Yeah.
Are you hoping to get your job back, or are you hoping to be compensated for what they did?
I think I'd rather not answer that for now, just with the
No?
upcoming lawsuit.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Well, I'll talk to you after the
Yes.
lawsuit. Yeah, I'll have you on again.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
I just wanted to ask, when news outlets started contacting you, like, did you expect it to blow up how it did?
Absolutely not. I did not expect it.
Because it was going wild.
It really was. It did. It really went wild. And I did not expect it. And I was like, holy smokes. Like, and
You
I
can
remember,
even say shit on here if you
yeah, holy shit. At one point, I know when I was in one of the investigation meetings, they had like told me that this story had reached like 13 countries or something worldwide. And I was like, whoa. Like,
yes, I'm going to make some bang.
I'm like, ooh, wow. And I mean, of course, they're super pissed off about it, but I was just like, shit.
If
like,
this is going to happen to you, it may as well blow up like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
how are you going to make your money?
yeah,
You need that to happen.
for sure.
What was the weirdest type of show you were on? Because the Wisconsin thing for me,
Yeah.
I was like, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like that was so strange. They did a really good job.
Yeah, they're funny. They're
Yeah,
hilarious.
They were really funny. They were funny guys.
Yeah.
But I was still like, just Wisconsin to me. It was wild.
Yeah. Oh God. Well,
You had a guy, what was his name? Oh, I forget his name. Ryan Long. Is that
oh
his name?
yeah. The comedian.
parody sort
He
of
did
video
a
or
parody. That was hilarious. That was pretty wild. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a compliment.
Yeah.
Huge compliment.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it yesterday, but the Wisconsin guys mentioned it.
Yes.
And so I was like, I gotta find this, and I couldn't find it.
So it's on my page, but I believe he deleted it off of his page. So I'm not sure you can get the whole thing.
Oh, that might be why.
Yeah, but
I'll take another look.
It was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious. Well, and did you see that there was a local guy who did like a rap about me, and then I was in his music
I
video.
saw that you were in a music video.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yes, it was
Okay,
quite
can I see the
hilarious.
music video? Is it out now?
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's on my page too.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So we talked about, you have a daughter. Did anyone else in your life, like parents, I don't know, grandparents, whatever, did they have an issue with everything that happened, or did they already know what was going on beforehand?
I've been very open with my family from the beginning. My parents are It's funny to say, but like my mom, for example, has been like, you know what? I'm really proud of you, like for standing up for yourself and
Yeah.
for, you know, coming forward and for making your money, honey. And, just, yeah, I think, everybody in my life, at least my family, they've been incredibly supportive. So I'm very lucky.
And it's hard sometimes with all the noise of social media to remember that, but those are the most important people.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now about just how expensive life is in general, and also how judgmental people can be, what would you tell young girls coming up now, figuring out how to make money? Would you suggest to them OnlyFans? What would your advice be?
I mean, I think it's like anything. You need to be kind to yourself. You need to, specifically for OnlyFans, you need to know your boundaries and you need to stick within them, and not go against your integrity. I think is a really big thing. Just maintain your self-respect and, I think I know myself as a young person, I didn't have the self-confidence or the, let's say, balls to go against the grain at that point. It just wasn't in my, I just didn't have the grit at that point in my life, But yeah, certainly you do have to deal with some shit, and not everybody is going to be accepting of it.
But they don't pay your bills.
No, they don't. And it's so funny now. I'm in like such a weird space where I sometimes get a kick out of like telling people what I do for a living just to like see their reaction.
It is what, even when I used to say I'm an OnlyFans sexter, no one understands really what that means.
No.
Everyone's like, what do you mean? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
It is a great conversation starter.
Yeah. I like, it makes some people instantly uncomfortable, which I guess I get a kick out of a little bit. But then yes, there is the other part where it's like, you do start a very interesting conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was actually really funny for me. I went on vacation, I think it was in June, and I met people on the plane and whatever, and it's right about the time that this story came out. And I got like 3 DMs when I got home from this vacation from people that I had spoke to on the plane. Wow. Just being like, hey, you're that girl! Like we totally support you! And yeah, it's quite funny. Like I would say that the response from the public was actually very positive.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. I mean, there are certainly, I did get some DMs like, you're a whore!
Oh, God. People really think that that's such a diss these days. You're a whore. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, it's wild what they will say to you.
I know, yeah. Or like, it is hilarious the amount of men that message me like, I support you, like, oh, keep doing what you're doing. And if you ever want to go for dinner, like, I'd love to take you for dinner. We could just chat about the case, like.
Oh, right, because that's what you want to do all the time,
right?
On your spare time.
Yeah.
Would you ever date a guy that was subscribed to your OnlyFans?
No.
Straight up.
No.
What if he was like super hot and rich and sexy and just a great man altogether?
I mean, you're making it sound pretty good.
I know, and I know there's not very many like that on there.
Yeah.
But,
I actually I have a man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Apologies to him.
No. It's okay. It's it's not really that new, but like.
Has he been with you through this whole process?
Yeah, we kind of started out. We started a while ago, but we just kind of took things slow, and then we decided to like be exclusive kind of over the time everything started, and he's been like incredibly supportive and.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's a really good guy.
Good. You need a good guy like that.
Yes.
So what's next for you? Because I know when things blow up with the media, it's like super, like so much, and then all of a sudden it's like dead.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, I mean, I think it's a constant push to stay relevant.
Yeah.
What's next? I'm hoping to get out to LA to do some collaborations with some
Nice.
American OF models. I think, the reality of Vancouver is we're really limited. Like there are OnlyFans girls.
Yeah.
I think that most of the Vancouver ones I've actually met, most of them are great. They want to do collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
Some have no interest in it. That's here nor there, but there isn't a huge pool in Vancouver, like there is in LA or Vegas or so.
Yeah, you got to travel to find those connections.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to kind of, to maybe do some more modeling and photo shoots and to do some collaborations and
Ride the wave.
keep doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I like talking to people and speaking out. So
You were someone I really wanted to have on here because my goal is to talk to people who push boundaries, who live their lives the way they want to live them, whether
Yes.
it makes people happy or not. That's the way I want to live my life, and that's the people that interest me the most.
of course,
I like to talk about that, just real stuff. This is real life.
Real life,
We're not
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do. You got to make your money, and
Absolutely.
and you have to be happy.
Yeah, you have to be happy. And, I think that's been a constant kind of like for me since everything with the school board is like I check in with myself like, okay, is this making you happy still? And it's like, yeah. And without judgment, like not being like, oh, like getting naked on camera and like doing naughty things to yourself makes you happy. It's like, yeah, it does actually. And I'm good at it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, what are they doing? Sitting at a desk from 9 to 5, like filing papers? Like,
Well, and hating
does that make you
life
happy? Yeah.
and like,
At least you can do that naughty shit wherever you want, whenever you want. You own your own schedule. You can do whatever.
yeah.
I love that. I also thought I saw that you have a calendar. Is that
I
true?
do, yes.
You should have brought it. I would have.
You know what?
I can
I've
just buy
actually
it from you.
I've ordered some, but they're coming from I think was it in New Jersey anyways, I have some coming. I will totally send you one.
Yeah, I would want an invitation calendar.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll sign it for you and everything.
Perfect. Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
I
girl.
love this. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Kristen McDonald, Ava James, thank you for being on my show.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, I need water too. Fuck. I'm dry.
God, this atmospheric river is just really nice. Eh?
There were so many sirens and shit too.
Oh
I think
God.
it's just one.
Okay.
I think it's okay. We're in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is.
There's a bit of like.
Sorry, my phone was like vibrating at one point. I noticed. Oh, good. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to move it. It was just.
No. That's okay. I totally understood why.
Yeah, no, that's fun. So like you just got a bunch of photos done and put it together in a calendar? Or
Yeah,
did
I've
someone help
done
you?
like tons of photos. I'm in the process of submitting to like Playboy and stuff, but
Oh, fuck yeah.